So recently my YouTube page filled with videos about people that were touching grass in various games. And upon watching the videos I kept wondering, why? And to be honest, I still have no idea, but there was something so bizarre about this. Some part of me felt really entertained and also wanted to know how long it actually takes to touch grass in the Rayman 3 levels. And I mean, maybe out of some form of disbelief that there are actual people out there that waste their time with this nonsense. But maybe there's also some part of you that wishes to get an answer to this question. And that's where I come in. I will test this for you, but upon trying this, I wanted to take this a step further and provide you with the most useless knowledge about the Rayman games that you can possibly get. So yes, I will be testing how long it takes to touch grass in every level, but also how long it takes to score a single point, to touch water, to defeat an enemy, free the first teensy, and see a Matuvu. So I present to you a spreadsheet of things you didn't know you wanted to know about Rayman 3. Starting in the Fairy Council as always. The first run unfortunately starts off kinda bad. The level starts with Murphy carrying Rayman while flying. See all this beautiful grass I can touch? But he won't let me. Bastard. And once he finally does drop me, he drops me on wood and we trigger another loading zone. But luckily, right here is when we finally touch the sweet grass. Ah, that's nice, man. 1 minute and 8 seconds. Wonder if that's a good score. But when talking about the how long to score a single point run, it gets a bit more complex. See, we do the same thing as we just did. But before we can earn a point, Murphy is giving a big speech which takes a while. When he finally lets us go, we run up to the first leprechaun we see, smash it for a final time of 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I think I can clock in at 2 minutes and 21 seconds if I didn't miss my first kick, but it is what it is. However, when thinking back on it, maybe this is incorrect. Because when I reset and listen to Murphy's speech, he clearly gives us a point after 1 minute and 58 seconds. But since the points disappear, I decided to stick with the 2:22 time. We have to cover way more land to make it to the water in our How Long to Touch Water run. I decided to go all the way here, but later I thought no. You actually run through water at 2 minutes and 34 seconds at this place, which is way faster. Something funny happens in my How Long to Kill an Enemy run. I ran as fast as I could to take out Hoodlum Andre in 5 minutes and 52 seconds, but when reviewing the runs and results with my cousin, he pointed out that I made a mistake. I went all the way in the Fairy Council to kill this Hoodlum, but there is actually one enemy earlier. Can you guess which one it is? It's the crab thing, whatever this is. And killing him will reduce the time down to 4 minutes and 1 second. So that's great. And it does count because he is technically attacking with these stars and all. So yeah, this guy is an enemy. 2 runs remaining here. Although actually 1 since there's no teensy in this level, so we move on to our last result. Seeing the Matuvu for a final time of 2 minutes and 44 seconds. So that means we are moving on to Clearleaf Forest. And this? Oof, this is fast. When starting the level, Rayman and Glowbox fall out of the teleporter. Unfortunately, they don't fall onto grass. But when Glowbox starts doing the weird Andre movement, Rayman luckily runs to grass as fast as he can, clocking in at 27 seconds. That is amazing. Best score so far, and the other runs shouldn't take long as well. For the point run we can focus on the piggy bank on the right side. You can see me pick up the gems and clocked in at 36 seconds. But of course, you already get points for breaking the piggy bank, reducing the time to 34 seconds. The kill an enemy run is just as easy. Just charge your fist and throw a curved punch to the first hoodlum you encounter here. This will give you a splendid time of 35 seconds. So far Clearleaf Forest looks very good. And in the See a Matuvu run, things only get a little worse. The Matuvu is close and we only have to kill this hoodlum, but we have to make a bit of a curve in our path to get there. The ending time is 42 seconds. But the last 2 runs will take a bit longer, For the free Teensy run, we have to go a bit further. We still do the same thing, but we climb on this and get to the Teensy after 55 seconds. Still excellent, but definitely a step back compared to our previous results. But the touch water run here is really something else compared to these. Because we free the Teensy, make a run here and roll into the cutscene. Run past this enemy, get the red power up, fall down, jump into the water for an ending time of 2 minutes and 16 seconds. That's a little worse. But when we look at the stat screen, we can see that Clearleaf Forest is doing way better than the Fairy Council, because of the intro of the game. Is there a level that's gonna top that? Well, it certainly will not be the Bog of Murk. Because think about it, we are in a swamp. Where is possibly grass? Well, there is an argument to be made for there not being any grass at all, but I found something that might count, and I did. We jumped into the swamp, take out the witch, and this took me a lot of time. Not only because I'm quite bad at manipulating her attack, but also because I turned into a frog once. But even in the second level here, no grass. It is only when making it to the third level, when we take out these enemies, jump into the swamp so we can make an extra fast jump onto the lockjaw, and here we can finally touch some form of grass. Like I said, if you think that this is not grass, I will get that, but to me, this sweet touch of green sweetness is, well, frankly, it's good enough for me. It's a did not finish score, or it's a time of 4 minutes and 6 seconds. But luckily, the other runs are way better. Of course, in every run we have to deal with the small cutscene of breaking into the toilet, but the water run and a point run are really close. So I was really curious to see which one would be faster. In the end, the point run clocks in at 25 seconds and 9 hundredths, while the water run clocks in at 24 seconds and 96 hundredths. So to touch water in the Bog of Murk is about 0.13 seconds faster. Be aware that this is hand testing and variations are possible, but I do believe the touch water run to be the fastest because you can make a good roll into the water. And I think this is great. It's really cool and frankly useless information. The first Teensy cage is here as well. It only takes a few seconds longer than the other runs, with an ending time of 28 seconds. For the Matuvu, we have to go all the way here. Not that this is far by any means, but we can see this one after 52 seconds. Pretty good times overall, but the grass, or lack thereof, completely makes the Bog of Murk obsolete for a good ending score. And having said this, how does the Land of the Livid Dead look? I have a pretty good feeling about it. Because look at this. Before we even get control over Rayman, we already land on grass. So this run is an easy clock in at 9 seconds. That's the best time so far. But this part is also full of points. So the only thing we have to do is get 1 gem in our point run. This gives us an ending time of 11 seconds. Amazing! Could this be the level? Well, it certainly looks like it, since upon landing in the Teensy run, we can jump, throw a punch, and voila! 11 seconds as well. This is absolutely perfect. For the water run, we can run through the cave and roll into the water for an ending time of 27 seconds. It's not hard at all, just stick to the shortest path in the cave. With the kill an enemy run, we have to repeat our point run strat and use the green power up the Teensy spawns on the spikes in the cave for an easy one-hit KO after 30 seconds. So that leaves us with only 1 run. That is also easy. A Matuvu is placed on the stones right by the beginning. It only spawns when you get close to it, but then just look at it and you can clock this run in at a marvelous 20 seconds. So when doing the math, our ending time for the Land of the Livid Dead in all runs combined is 1 minute and 48 seconds. That is amazing. I really doubt there will be any level that can beat this score, but you know, let's find out. Of course, by moving on to the desert of the Knaaren. But when thinking about the level, we see the following: rocks, caves, an arena, a red ground or whatever it is, and yes, no grass. It pains me to say, but I searched long and wide and there is absolutely no grass in the desert of the Knaaren. We get a did not finish score here, which makes me really sad. Luckily the other runs make up for that, but this is a real bummer. The point run clocks in at 6 seconds by grabbing the first gem here. That is the fastest time so far, so it kinda evens out, but I do consider a did not finish score as one of the worst metrics that you can possibly get. The enemy run is easy as well, since 3 red 1-hit KO hoodlums spawn on the 3rd platform. And it's a good thing they are here because that clocks this run in at 10 seconds. We only have to go a little bit further in our touch water run to touch this green water. I'm not entirely sure that this is actually water, but for this run I decided to count it since A, there is no other form of regular water in the desert of the Knaaren, and yes, I did check, which is actually weird because what do the Knaaren drink then? Whatever. But also B, this green stuff is liquid enough to count as water. I just like to think that someone threw some form of toxic in the regular water, so it counts. Why this run is 40 seconds is because when you fall down here, the game stops to look at this cutscene, which blocks Rayman for 15.5 seconds. So 40 seconds is not bad, but it would be better if we wouldn't have to wait for this long. The teensy run is not really far as well. We just play normally but fast, and upon making it to this place, with a good jump you can make it just on this platform, which is great. We shoot the teensy cage from the teensies that are gonna be like, hey, big nose! If you want to cross the desert, you need to use the tunnels. However, after getting a DNF score in this level, tragedy will strike again. Maybe I missed one and I hope I did, but to my knowledge, the first Matuvu is all the way in the Great Hall on the left wing of the Eagle. So we have to cover a lot of ground before that. Outplaying the Knaaren is essential by making this jump, carry the boulder, killing the ghost as fast as possible to see the Matuvu after 6 minutes and 21 seconds. That is quite unfortunate, because if we add up the time we see 8 minutes and 23 seconds on the clock after all runs. And a DNF score. Yeah, the Desert of the Knaaren not only gives us a bad score, but it won't even let us touch grass. But we are about to enter a level that kinda looks like a museum. And you know how much sweet grass is actually in museums? Yep, the longest shortcut doesn't have any grass as well. This is starting to get really annoying. When the level starts, we get out of the cutscene of the doctors explaining why Andre is a threat, and we need to catch up to them. Blah blah blah. Anyway, it takes 25 seconds. So our point run takes us 26 seconds by getting the crown displayed on the button. Our See the Matuva run is only 41 seconds because after this doctor's walk-in hour, we can use the teleporter but walk around the shoe part and look to this Matuvu. Upon thinking about the kill on enemy run, I thought, wait, are there actually enemies in this level? I came to the conclusion, no. But when later thinking back, I realized, of course, yes, there is one. The shoe. I guess that's debatable, but his health bar clearly states that he is an enemy. So I took him out in 1 minute and 13 seconds, which I believe to be really fast. Listening to the doctors, running to the teleporter, then watch this short cutscene of the shoe becoming evil or something, adds up the time. So 1 minute and 13 seconds is a real time for a fight this inconsistent. With our touch water run we have to go much further. The first water is in the third part of the longest shortcut. So we speedrun everything the way I usually do. Climb to this part, jump down and start again. Do the invisible plateau thing by looking at which ones are lower than the others, because otherwise you'd have to wait, etc. All these things so when I get here I can run as fast as possible to the sweet, sweet water. But in our last run, the teensy run, yeah. Also no teensy cages here. We have all these incredible statues, but that doesn't count. So you think it cannot get much worse than the Desert of the Knaaren, but the longest shortcut actually sits at 7 minutes, 38 seconds and 2 did not finish scores. I believe this to be the worst one we have so far. So that got me thinking, where is the grass in these runs? And it pains me to say, but upon thinking about it, I came to the conclusion that there might be, and in fact there is, no more grass in the game. I couldn't believe it. Here I am actually desperate for touching grass, but actually I'm doing this in a game where there's almost no grass at all. I really thought that there would be more than there actually is, which is really bad. So yes, the desert of the Knaaren, the longest shortcut, the summit beyond the clouds, Hoodlum Headquarters and the Tower of Leptys all have no grass in them. At least not to my knowledge, and I think I can make a pretty safe statement about that since I've been running this game for at least 100 plus times in my life, probably 150 to 200. But maybe if I missed some, please let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's look at the other stats then. The summit beyond the clouds starts on a boat, and this is great for a few runs, but not so much for the others. Let's start positive. The point run is easy and can be completed in 16 seconds. We wait until the cutscene ends and get this gem. The touch water run is easy as well, since we are on an ocean. I redid this run 3 times to make sure I actually touched the water, but in the end I got a run where you can very clearly see Rayman touching the water after 18 seconds. And of course the last run, which is pretty easy to complete, is the enemy run, which I completed in 33 seconds by killing one of the random sharks that appear. The minimal time is around that threshold, but I think you can get luckier with spawns, etc. So maybe it can be done in 31. Not sure to be honest, but that's just a theory which I feel like I need to share to give you the most in-depth and correct data. Data this scientific and necessary cannot be taken lightly, of course. Just like how I should not take the last 2 runs here lightly. The teensy run can be completed by speedrunning the boat part, watching the rolling snowballs cutscene and climbing up the mountain to break open this teensy cage. My time was 4 minutes 41 seconds. Could be worse I guess, like the Matuva run, which I'm still unsure about. We do the same thing, but I made a mistake here. See, you cannot see the Matuva from down here. Out of habit I killed the hoodlums that haven't spawned yet, because they are easy one-hit KOs before landing, but killing them triggers the twins cutscene. It's not long but totally unnecessary. You can jump here and make your way to this platform to see the Matuvu. Be aware that this run can be completed in about 8 to 9 seconds faster, but my results was 6 minutes and 4 seconds. So the summit beyond the cloud time is a 10 plus minute and the DNF score. Almost done. In the Hoodlum Headquarters our point run is easy. Grab this gem in 12 seconds. There's no cutscene or anything, which is great. The teensy run is easy as well, since we only have to make 3 jumps more, shoot the orange rocket and take out this cage. Took me 25 seconds. I also tried to take out this teensy cage, but the other one is way faster. The Matuvu run is also great, because we can see this guy after 56 seconds. But the enemy run was even faster, clocking in at 43 seconds by killing this hoodlum. But right now I want to talk about the water run, because I made a very weird discovery here. Of course I counted this as water. I think this falls into the same category as the toxic crab in the desert of the Knaaren. The run took 9 seconds. However, I noticed that I die very fast from this hot water. I tested twice and both attempts let me die in 3 seconds upon touching the water. But let's fast forward to the Tower of Leptys and try this toxic water. I've also tested this twice with the same number of lives to make it consistent. The first attempt killed me in 57 seconds and the second attempt in 1 entire minute. The discrepancy is unmatched. How can there be so much difference? It means that this water in the Hoodlum Headquarters is 2000% deadlier than the water in the Tower of Leptys. That is really weird. And speaking of weird, the Matuvu run is much slower than the other runs in the Tower of Leptys, clocking in at 10 minutes and 7 seconds. Maybe I forgot one somewhere, but I collected this one after climbing the entire tower and doing the flying machine part. The other runs are much faster. The point run can be done in 6 seconds by breaking this piggy bank. Touching this water takes 1 minute and 24 seconds because of killing the hoodlums. The enemy run clocks in at 23 seconds of course at this place. And the teensy run is a speed run with this skip to the teensy cage here, which you can break in 58 seconds. Just like in my speedrun video, I like to show off this move because it's way faster. Look at me go. You can grab the lockjaw from here, jump, voila, we're on this platform, jump on the fence, jump again, and see, we have already made it out of this place. In conclusion, there is so much less grass in this game than I thought. It's a real shame because when I think about Rayman 2, there are so many levels that had grass, and I have no way to play and or record that game. So unfortunately I cannot make that video. But when looking at the ending scores, we can see that there are a lot more DNF scores than I, and maybe you, might have thought, which unfortunately decreases the ranking of certain levels. There were 3 clear contenders for the winning spots of lowest time. At number 3 we have the Hoodlum Headquarters with an ending time of 2:25. That is pretty low, but it did have a DNF score attached. So it is a good score, but it gets taken down by the lack of grass. In second place we have Clearleaf Forest with a time of 5:41. I know, it's like double the time, but way more reliable. See, I also talked about this in my speedrun video, but consistency is always going to be the most trusty metric. All the times in Clearleaf Forest were pretty low, although they could have been way lower if it wasn't for the cutscene in the beginning. But especially the touch water run almost took half of the total ending time, which got it down a bit. Not that it matters, because the Land of the Livid Dead is the clear winner here. 1:48 of time in total. There are many single runs that have a higher time than the total ending time of the Land of the Livid Dead. Absolutely amazing progress. So I hope that you feel just like I do now. Fulfilled and feeling that I now know more about the game that I have played over and over and over. These have been 54 obscure video game runs, so until next time I'd say, take care.